Hey guys, welcome back to the Average Joe Rating Climb. We're 1456 and climbing, and I have a couple of new openings that you guys have recommended that I play. So for white, I'm going to try to play the Nachmann Gambit, which I'll show you hopefully if we see that. And for black, I'm going to try to play the Rousseau Gambit. Some very tricky openings where we get to hopefully attack the king. Should be a lot of fun if our opponents cooperate. Before we jump into the games, very quickly, I want to remind you, the Black Friday sale on Breaking 1500 ends today. Today's the last day to get $100 off. So if you're interested, make sure you take advantage of that. We don't do these sales often, so it'll probably be a little while before we do another sale like this. So make sure you take advantage of that. Links in the description. All right, having said that, let's jump into these games, guys. Here we go. And we're playing Deepak Grau. Plays e4. We're going to go with e5, get a pawn in the center. Okay, attacks our pawn. We're going to defend the pawn. And if we see bishop c4, we can play the Rousseau game. That's not bishop c4. So bishop c4, Rousseau gambit is f5. This is a Scotch game. I don't really like the Scotch game, but there's not a whole lot of options here. I think you kind of have to just take the pawn. Otherwise, we're probably going to get into a bad position. And then again, there's not a ton of lines here. Bishop c5 is kind of the main, probably the best one. We just attack. And he's going to defend. Okay, interesting. So a lot of people will trade here. This is also totally fine. And, you know, what if we, so I'm actually thinking, if I want to trade and play queen f6, we might just trade a bunch of stuff off. Or I could play queen f6 first, which is kind of the standard approach. Yeah, let me do this. And the reason I'm doing this is I don't want to play some line that my opponent has studied. So I'm going to play something a bit weird and try to get to the end game quickly. So let's go queen f6. Now, I would love if white takes me. Why? Because then it develops my knight. Perfect. So this is great. If they didn't take me and they moved somewhere else, I was going to have to figure out how to develop my knight, maybe on e7, but this just works out very nicely for us. Okay, so we get the attack, they defend. And now I want to just pause for a moment and think about this bishop, because this is, you know, the last piece that I need to develop. Obviously, I could play d6 and maybe try to put it maybe on e6. Doesn't look too bad. Or I could try to do some kind of a fianchetto here. Now, the problem with that is I don't want my knight to get chased around and have to go to an awkward square. So I kind of like d6 for that. But castling also gives me the option to bring the rook over. And if I plan ahead a little bit, I'm anticipating white's probably going to castle here. They're going to get out of the pin, then this could push forward. So having considered all that, I think the move d6 is probably a safe enough move for me to play. Lets the bishop out. It's kind of a flexible move. Like, I'm not totally committed. I could still fianchetto this if I really want. I don't have to. I could put it here. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and castle and get my king out of the center and probably try to use this file for my rook. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So we'll just castle. And I don't want to get too low on time, so I am going to speed up a little bit. As the opponents get better and better as we approach 1600, falling behind too much on the clock is going to make my life difficult. So yeah, f3 is a good move. He's shutting down my knight. And so what I usually like to do when that happens is reroute my knight somewhere else. So for example, I could come over here. I could maybe try to jump into e5. Maybe I could jump into f4, like just do something else. Another thing is if I could play d5 and put pressure here, maybe that could be a way to activate my knight, but then I have to worry about e5. Also, the bishop needs to be developed. So I think I'm going to first develop the bishop, and I like this diagonal. I can actually get there before this guy does. And so let's go ahead and start with that, and then we'll worry about the knight later. Okay, it goes bishop d3, and also the f3 could maybe be supporting g4 and h4, and white might be trying to attack my king. So let's think about this. What can we do? I mean, bringing the rooks to the center makes sense. If I can play d5, like I already said, e5 is a bit of a problem. We could try to launch some pawns on the queen side and gain some space over here. Like, I'm not actually thinking that that's a terrible idea. It's not quite the same effect because there's no queens on the board. Probably won't be checkmating them right away. But let me go ahead and play a6 just in case I want to do that. And the reason I'm choosing a6 to play b5 instead of c6 is because if I play c6, look at this. This d6 pawn becomes a weakness. And right now it's not a weakness. It's defended very nicely. So that's why this one. Okay. Yeah, h4, he wants to just throw the pawns forward. I don't know if I'm really worried. I mean, if I want to, I could stop that. And it's going to make it difficult for white to actually play that. Might be a useful move to play, because otherwise he's going to just throw these forward. It's not the end of the world. But yeah, I think I actually will play h5. And You know, I say that. H5, the rook comes over here, takes. Yeah, we're good. So we'd probably have to bring the bishop back to support that. Takes. And then I'm going to be attacking. Yeah, I will play H5. It actually makes it very difficult for white to continue. So I will go ahead and play it. Sometimes this move is risky because it's closer to white's pawn. So they can more quickly start opening up the files. But in this case, you're just losing a pawn. And I don't think that that's what white wants to do. Yeah, if they go here, they're just going to lose a pawn. So now I will go to the other side of the board and start my own kind of attack. Oh, and I don't think they counted properly because they only have 2 defenders and I have 3 attackers. So I'm just going to win a pawn here. And I don't really see why that's good for white. So I think they just probably didn't calculate. Yeah, now it's a question of which way do we want to take it? And yes, my king is open to the rook. But again, queens are off the board. It's probably not as dangerous as it could have been. Let's say we go here. Or we take here. Yeah, let me take with the bishop and attack the rook, gain a tempo there. Okay. So let's be careful because there is a threat here, right? He wants to take this. Oh, that's actually... Ooh, did I just... Okay, I didn't see that move. That is a very good move. Because what he wants to do is take here, and then he gets the bishop and the knight. But if I move the knight, he gets the bishop. If I move the bishop, he's going to take here anyway. That is a fantastic move. Yeah, I totally missed that. Okay, we might have to sack the 2 pieces for the rook, which is really not ideal. But I don't see a way out of this, actually. If I move the king, he still is going to take. We don't really have any tricks. Yeah, wow, that's an amazing move. Okay, so what do we do? Well, we have to make the best of the situation. I think getting the king out of the way is probably the best option. And then we try to win this pawn with the help of our king, and maybe we somehow can make something happen with the rook. Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be that's a very good move. I didn't see that. All right, well, I don't want to lose use all my time here. It's a bad position, but we have to make the best of it. So let me just go ahead, play king h8. He's probably going to take this if he's paying attention. And yes, okay. And I think I'm going to fight for the file now. Yeah, let's go ahead and fight for the file. So we'll offer the trade. White can trade. They don't have to. They can also just play rook here. Then I'll probably activate my... Okay, he does trade. All right, so let's go ahead and get the rook involved. And if we can win this pawn... Okay, there's a fork, but I'm going to focus on probably winning. This guy's not a big deal because it's a doubled pawn anyway. I think I want to save the c pawn. Yeah, maybe we go with c5 here. Save the pawn. Okay. Then I think I'm going to go to the second rank. And the reason I'm going to the second rank is, number 1, I'm cutting off the king. Number 2, I might sneak around here and get this pawn. And number 3, I'm thinking if I can trap this bishop. Look at this move, c4, guys. If white's not paying attention, c4, bishop can't go there. You have to go back here, and then you get pinned. So this is a tricky move. And we'll see if white's paying attention. They are on top of it. Wow, this guy is very, very sharp. Okay. I mean, I could still go there and gain the space. Not sure how valuable that's going to be. I might just instead go for this pawn here. I'll save this move. Maybe it makes sense, but he's just going to go here. I don't think it really accomplishes too much for me. Okay, let me go here. Attacking the... that's a fork. Wow. I want to win this pawn, but I don't really want to get forked. Here. Maybe I need to attack the knight first. How do we save the pawn? That's my question, though. How do we save the pawn? Maybe I can't save the pawn. All right, here, fork. I guess we go here, takes. That knight is just so annoying. Yeah, we're gonna have to, I'm just gonna have to move. This guy's just finding some really nice moves. There's not a lot I can do here. All right, he's gonna fork me. I'm gonna bring the king this way. I think the king has to help on this side of the board. The rook should be able to capture that without too much trouble. Oh, interesting. He's not taking the pawn. Okay. So do we keep the king pinned on the back, or do we take the pawn? That's the question. It's not an easy question. Here, knight goes here. Don't want to get forked. I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it. And I have 2 minutes, so I'm going to start moving faster. Our opponent is blitzing out every move, so I run the risk of losing on time if I don't pick the pace up here. Let's try not to get forked. That's the important thing. Let me go here. Should be a safe move. You can't get forked when your pieces are in this configuration. Okay. Let's keep bringing the king closer. Okay. I wonder if we can trap the knight. I wonder if we can trap the knight. Takes here. No, then the bishop comes in. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, okay, so let's push forward, gain a tempo. I'm still trying to figure out if I can save this pawn. It doesn't look like I can. So we might have to sack that guy. Here could be interesting. Yeah, let's go. Let's try to get the king activated here. Okay, we're going to sneak in with the king. I'm trying to create a situation where white doesn't have a lot of options with their king. So check, they block. I can grab this pawn. Maybe we push this guy down the board. A minute's not a lot of time. All right, let me go with the check. Let me take the pawn, and here we go. We're going to try to push as quick as we can here. Let's go f5. Let's go f4. Of course, if white wants to take that, they can, but then I'm going to be pushing, and they have to... Yeah, they're probably going to have a problem if they let that happen. They can't fork me. At least not right now. Okay. Let me go d5, support this. Okay, now we're going to push. Do they have a way to stop this pawn? What I'm not sure about. Here, maybe? Or here? Gotta move, gotta move, gotta move. Okay. If they take, I'm going to push. They go here. Yeah, I don't think they can stop this pawn. I don't think they can stop this pawn. So let's go ahead and push. Sack the rook because we have the checkmate. Okay, I mean, we got to talk about this, guys. This person didn't even use 3 minutes. I don't even know if they thought for more than like 10 seconds on a single move the entire game. They thought, okay, 20 seconds on one move. I mean, you're in like a critical moment. You got to slow down. This is not the first time I've said this, right? You got to slow down. I only had 28 seconds. If they could find like a couple of decent moves, I might just lose on time. And instead, they just get checkmated. I mean, on one hand, okay, my opponent played well, found some nice moves. On the other hand, like, what are you doing with your time? Like, you gotta be smarter than that, right? Anyway, good game. I totally missed that rook f1 move. That was a powerful move. Yeah, so they didn't play terrible. They had a brilliant move, which I don't know what was the brilliant move. Oh, it was rook takes f6. Sure. So yeah, this was an amazing moment. Let's actually just look at this for a second. I thought there was no way they could play this because they're just losing a pawn. Okay, it was bad, and I had to take it with the knight simply to avoid the tactic of after rook f1. But that's one of those tactics. It's not like super obvious to see, and I just wasn't paying attention because normally you think like, okay, if something happens, I'll just move my bishop back, or I'll just defend, or I just have no moves. I actually have no moves. Yeah, the best move is king h8, which I played, but there's just no way, right? This is pinned. I can't take that. If I move my knight, like I said, I lose the bishop. If I move the bishop, yeah, there's just nothing. That was an amazing move. And I can't believe that they saw all of that. I think he just kind of stumbled into it. But anyway, let's go to the next game. The time management, guys. I mean, the time management is just such a big deal. All right, we're black again. E4, E5. Okay, same opening. Let's see. Okay, bishop C4 will allow us to bishop to B5. Now we can still play F5. It's a different opening, and I'm not exact. It's yeah. We'll try it. Let's see what happens. This is called the Jaenisch Gambit. I don't know. I wanted to play the Rousseau Gambit where the bishop's on C4. So the bishop on B5 kind of changes the dynamic a bit, but we'll see what happens here. So when you play F5, obviously you weaken some things. Okay, and yeah, he takes it. You weaken some things here and here. You have to watch out for the queen coming in. So usually the remedy for that is going to be knight F6, and then you stop the queen with the knight. I think that's what I'm going to play now. I guess E4 is interesting, but then you take my knight, I take you, your knight jumps in. Is that really what I want? Maybe it is, actually. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not terrible. The knight jumps in, we have to deal with queen H5, so we play knight F6 probably. And then we have an interesting position. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. So we play E4. You'll notice the knight doesn't have any squares immediately, but they can trade here. Okay, they can also do queen E2. Yeah, queen E2. So they pin me. So I can go here, break the pin. D5 looks like a nice move. The problem with D5, I think, is that I put myself into a pin. When you put yourself into a pin and the knight jumps forward, you might be in trouble. So that's why I think we should maybe play queen E7 instead. Yeah, let's do it. Let's go queen E7. We break the pin. We defend the pawn. We renew the threat on the knight. And again, the knight is temporarily kind of trapped. We're moving forward. Of course, you can always move backwards. But I expect maybe white's going to take here to open up a square for the knight. You trade, and then you can jump in here. That's what they're going to go for. Now, there's a principle in chess that says you should capture towards the center, which I'm thinking about following here, because then I can play D5 and I have this nice pawn chain. But this way is also not bad, because then we can immediately put the pressure on the pawn. If the knight moves to D4, I would... Yeah, I don't actually know if I have a decent move in that position, so maybe I will just take this way. Maybe I will. Yeah, I'm not super familiar with this, because the lines I was looking at earlier was the Rousseau game, but this is totally different. All right, let's take this way. I'm also noticing this. Look at this, guys. If I play A5, we might have this annoying move here, bishop A6, to stop white from castling. Okay. Yeah, so do I want to play that right now? Let's just say I played queen E5, attacks the knight. Where's the knight going to go? You could defend. Play queen E3. Then you get pinned. That's kind of awkward. There is this check, though. I have to be careful with the check. Because if you play G6, so we could play knight F6 to stop that. Queen E5. I can't go here yet, but if I play A5, I can. Yeah, very interesting position. Okay, well, you know what? Actually, queen here, check. I could just slide my king over, and I don't think I'm in any trouble. The knight still has to move. If you ever have to play C3, that's just super awkward. Then I make bishop, king come over. Okay, yeah, so maybe actually queen E5 is a good move here, guys. I think I'm going to play queen E5. And the reason is, like, I want to force this knight to move. If you go to B3, fine. But I've moved it out of the center. My queen is now in a very aggressive, nice square. And then it comes with a tempo. So I think that's a good. Also, let's out the bishop. Like, there's a lot of just nice things about the queen being on E5. Initially, I was worried about this. But like I said, we just tuck the king over here. I think we're fine. Oh, you know what? Actually, wait a second. I could even just play G6. I just noticed that because of the pin. Can't take me like normal because I just take your queen. Okay, so yeah, we had a nice little move there. He does go with that. You know what? I could play this with the threat of trapping the knight and opening up the rook to support my bishop along here. That is looking very nice. That's looking very nice. Again, queen H5, we have G6, no big deal. Let's go a5. So the immediate threat, like let's just say white castles, then we trap their knight. So they're giving their knight a square to go to. No, no. So you would go here. Okay, so do I go here? Do I go bishop d6 to stop castling? I mean, I'm trying to keep the king in the center if I can. Knight f6 is obviously a logical choice as well. I wish I could maybe trade, but I can't because of the pin. So bishop d6 would deal with that problem. My queen would be defended. Bishop a6 just pins the pawn, which is kind of nice. This is kind of nice because the knight now is sort of awkward blocking in these other pieces, although maybe it's going to go to c4 and be annoying. So maybe I just play bishop a6. That seems pretty good. Castles, bishop d6. Let's just say they play g3. All right, let's do it. Let's go bishop a6. That just seems like a very nice diagonal for my bishop. It's in line with the queen. Oh, queen takes e4. Yeah, I don't even know why I didn't think about that. I have no idea. Actually, I have an idea because I woke up at like 5 to watch the World Championship. Yeah, okay, that was a mistake on my part. I didn't see that. Even though it's an obvious move, I just didn't see it. I was thinking I was stopping this capture because I pinned the pawn, but that was the extent of my thought. Well, again, we find ourselves in a rough situation. And again, I'm going to say I don't want to use up all my time. So I can't avoid a queen trade. I can't. So I'm going to go ahead and do it and at least stop white from castling and see if we can somehow get some counterplay going here. I think I'll push, otherwise this might just become a weakness for me. The knight goes here, we can just keep kicking it around. All right, so let's do that. I mean, it's not a terrible position in the sense of like, I'm just totally losing because we have the bishop pair. The board is pretty open. White cannot castle, which is actually a very annoying problem. Yeah, the issue is we don't really have any clear targets. That's the issue. But maybe this e4 pawn is the best we can do. Okay, he goes here. Maybe I'm going to just keep attacking. You can also go bishop c5, knight f6, castles, and bring the rook over. Let me start with knight f6. So we'll just develop an attack. I'm assuming we're going to see something like f3. No, he brings the knight out. Okay, that's something that I can attack, though. Bishop b4. Yeah, that is... Yeah, let's just do it. We develop, we attack. We just keep up the pressure. So look at my bishops looking pretty good now. There is bishop d2. Okay, he goes for f3. I'm thinking I just castle and my rook's involved. Then I bring the other rook. I play d5 and I try to put pressure on these pawns. The other thing is I castle this way and play d5 right away. Then I push these guys forward. That's not bad either. Yeah, where would I rather my king to be? Oh, you know what? I could play the move a3. A3 is a very annoying move because you can't take me because you lose your knight. You don't want to go here because you lose this probably. Let's do it. Because I don't actually know how white's going to do. You can't castle because of this guy. You're kind of tied up here because of the pin. So even though white's up some pawns or a pawn, they're up 2 pawns, aren't they? 3, 6, 7, 8, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 2 pawns. Okay, so they go back. All right. I wonder, yeah, maybe now I trade, play d5. No, then they're going to castle. Let me just leave it. I think I just leave this and just start attacking. I think that's what we do. I could also go bishop c5. That's a move too. The idea, again, to stop them from castling. No, I think I want to go d5. Actually, do I want to go d5 or castle for... Oh, I have 2.5 minutes. Wow. All right, we got to move. So let's just... Man, all right. Let's just castle. Games are tough at 1400. I gotta say. 1400 players are pretty good. They really are. Especially when you play like openings that you're not familiar with. I'm like experimenting with all these different openings that I don't usually play, and it's tough. But don't feel bad if you're 1400. All right. I think they're going to castle. And I think I'm going to take here. I don't know, actually. I mean, the idea is that I would force them to double up the pawns, but then the bishop comes out. I don't actually love that. Maybe I'll just play rook over in d5. What else can I do? Yeah, they do castle. What else can I do? D5 maybe? Yeah, let's just go D5. We gotta put some pressure on white. They have no problems right now, so you have to give them a problem. When you're losing, you have to do your best to create some sort of awkwardness in the position for your opponent, right? To cause them a bit of a problem. Let's see. Did we do it here, actually? Because this is a pin. This is a pin. I think we might have... Aha. Okay, we caught a break there, guys. We caught a break. They didn't see the pin. I'm going to take the free rook. And just like that, we're back in the game. See, this is what I've seen a lot, right? These 1400s, they play like really, really, really well, and then boom, you just, whoa. Like the last game, the person was like playing so well, and then just kept moving fast and got checkmated at the end, like, right? And again, here, they're beating me. I'll show you the graph. I'm sure they were ahead. And then just one move. That's it. It's over. Let's take a look. Yeah, look at that. You see that part of the graph? White's ahead. And then all of a sudden at the end there just kind of falls apart, right? They're winning. Not as much as I thought, actually. So I did have some counterplay, even according to the engine, which is interesting. So let me see here. I think the move that I really messed up was right here. Yeah, I didn't see this. So if I would have played a4 and then just defended, now go bishop a6, bishop b4. These are some weird moves. c3, then bishop back to d6. Yeah, this is a funky position. Like, these are some weird lines. Anyway, they're doing just fine. The point is they're doing just fine. And okay, that wasn't the greatest option, but whatever. They're still in the game until they blundered with the rook here. I don't know what to say. I mean, you gotta watch out for those pins. Anyway, let's go to the next game. All right, here we go. Let's go e4. We're trying to play the Nachmanson Gambit, and you cannot play it against the Caro-Kann, so never mind. All right. Well, I don't know if anybody requested any openings against this, so I will just play. Oh, you know what? I haven't played in a while. Let me play this. I'm gonna play what's called the two knights defense. So instead of getting your pawns in the center, you get two knights out. Okay, and they take. All right, let me recapture. You go there. Okay, there's some really tricky lines here. Like, for example, I could play queen. I'll just play it. I mean, you never know. I'm going to show you something interesting. I'm going to play queen e2. And if they try to defend their knight, the game is over. Okay, this is one trap. I don't think they're going to do that, although you might see it at 1400. They don't, okay, because the idea was a smothered checkmate. I was threatening knight d6 check. Once they block the queen and the king is totally trapped, you can't take because of the pin. Of course, they can just do this. So we'll just trade. And I think they're going to move their knight like this and attack my queen. And I'm going to show you guys a setup that I like to go for. Oh, they played g6 instead. Never mind. g6. So here's the thing about g6. What happens if I go here and attack your rook? Obviously, you are not going to let me win a free rook, so you're going to have to play either f6 or rook g8. If you play f6, you've totally weakened everything around your king. You're blocking in your fianchetto bishop. That can't be good. But if you play rook g8, you can't castle. And that also is kind of weird. I mean, yeah, you're going to play bishop g7 next with the tempo, but is that really what you want? I don't know. I'm very tempted to play queen e5 right now. I'm very tempted to play that. The other thing would be something like bishop c4, let him play bishop g7, and then maybe even just d4. Yeah, just normal development, basically. So that's the question. How badly do I want them to play rook g8 and bishop g7? How badly do I want that? I think it's significant if you can't castle. I think it's significant. Now, of course, they maybe eventually could castle that way, but I think it's worth it. I'm going to go ahead and play queen e5. So we'll see. I'm curious if Stockfish agrees with me on this or not, but generally speaking, if I have an opportunity to stop my opponent from castling kingside and it doesn't cause me too many problems, I'm going to go for it. So f6, rook g8. Oh, they choose f6. Okay. So they still can castle, but now you have other problems that I am going to try to take advantage of. So, okay, where do we want our queen to be now? So g3 I like, because then when I play like h4, h5, this is a very serious weakness. I guess I could go back to c3. That doesn't seem to make as much sense to me. Yeah, I think g3 is probably the place to go. Let's go here. And we're going to try to take advantage of this. Now this is a big weakness, because if I put my bishop here and sack this guy, your king is going to probably be in trouble. But first, let's just get some pieces out. Let me play d4, let my bishop out. And then I think bishop d3, h4, h5 is a very, yeah, they castle. Yeah. I could also go check, but then they do have e6. No, I think we're going to go with this plan. I could even play h4 right away, but I think I might just get the bishop out first to stop black from going there. And then, yeah, h4 looks good. I could also just, move this bishop and castle queenside if I need to in the future. But right now, I feel like my king is relatively safe. Okay, they're going to put the bishop here. Fine. Still thinking h4, h5. I am still thinking that. Yeah, let's go. I guess black wants to go bishop f7, which makes sense. You created some weaknesses, but you're going to put the bishop there to kind of fill in the gaps. That's actually smart. Yeah, that's a very smart thing. Now, still thinking about this, because even though I'm losing a pawn, what am I getting in return? Well, I'm opening up the queen. I could play bishop h6. This guy's pinned. I'm threatening checkmate. The only move would be bishop g6. But then I take you. If you take me, I take you, and I'm happy. If you take me, I will take you, and I'm also probably happy. Yeah, so I think it's a safe move. So let's go with h5. Wow. Now that's a move I wasn't thinking about. Okay, so my instinct tells me just push the pawn. Why? Because we force the bishop to go in the corner. We get this annoying pawn. One of the kids got hurt. Sorry, 1 second, guys. Okay. The 2-year-old whacked the 6-year-old in the head with the book. So we had to have a conversation. All right. What was I saying? I was going to say h6 because he pushes the bishop back, but then my pawn is kind of in the way. The other thing I could do is sacrifice. You know what I could do? Okay, I could push and then sacrifice. The idea is once the bishop is stuck and the pawn is here, black's king is basically trapped. So if we take, the only move you have is bishop g6. And then I take it. And I take it and I checkmate. And that looks pretty forcing. So I think that's what we do. I think we just go there, take there. I don't see a way out. Let's just verify one more time. Since I have the time, and this is probably going to be the end of the game. Could also take with the bishop. I don't know if it matters. It might be a little bit better. But yeah, let's go ahead. This seems like a safe move to start with. So we'll push the pawn. Send this guy back in the corner. Okay. Yeah, maybe I'll take with the bishop, only because it's an undeveloped piece anyway. The knight's already kind of in a good square, so we take with the bishop. I guess they don't have to take me. If they take me, it's over. Check. You go here, takes, checkmate. The game is over. Yeah, for sure. If you don't take me, though, and you play here, well, then I'll just take. Yeah, I guess that's the only move. Bishop here. Okay, and if my knight was there instead of my bishop, I would actually have a nice little fork. So maybe I should take with the knight. Since it's basically going to end the game if you don't play. Yeah, all right. Let's do the knight only because it's more powerful. Normally, I would try to get the undeveloped piece in the game, but in this case, I think we need the knight there. So take with the knight. Okay, he's going to take it. Yeah, now it's game over. There's no way to stop checkmate except for your bishop. Then I'm going to just take. Okay, we just take. Of course, you can't take me because I take in checkmate. If you don't take me, though, I'm going to move it next move and unleash my queen. That's what he chooses, rook f6. Oh, he's trying to run away. Interesting. Well, it's still a great position for me because I'm up the material. Maybe it's not checkmate like I initially thought. Okay. So rather than spend all my time here, I'm just going to move it back, create the check, force the king to move, probably grab the pawn, or just develop in castle. Yeah, okay, so black actually does find a way to survive for a little while. Yeah, do I take or do I defend here? Maybe I'll just defend, not let the queen come in. I'll castle and be quite happy with my position. I could take that pawn. Actually, I could take the pawn. You can't even take here. It's checkmate. And then you have the weaknesses. This g6 square is super weak. Let's do it. Let's do it. I was debating because I was afraid of giving black counterplay, but there's actually a checkmate threat. Okay. And once you see that, yeah, he does something else. Fine. Now let's develop. I only have 1 minute and 20 seconds. Okay, I gotta move up, move faster. I gotta move faster here. I think we just bring the bishop back. Yeah, let's go back. Let's get castled. Our position is amazing. So the only way we lose this game is if we blunder something with the time pressure. That's the only way we lose. Queen h5 is a good move. Queen h5 is a good move. Castling is a good move. Even trading is fine because I got my piece back. The only way, remember, blacks, the only way they survived is when they gave me the piece back. Do I have a checkmate? All right, I will go ahead and trade. Castle. And I do think I see a pretty easy way to win this. I'm going to push this pawn forward, and I don't think black's really going to be able to stop these pawns. So, yeah, trading queens makes my life a little easier in the sense that it's easier to move faster. Of course, probably it wasn't the best move, but when you don't want to run out of time, I think it practically makes sense. Yeah, let's go bring the rook here. Just throw the pawns forward. And trading is good for me, right? Trading takes me to an endgame that I'm going to easily win. I have a lot of extra pawns. So we have everything in our favor except the clock. That's the only thing. I don't really see a way that black can create too much counterplay here. So let me just go g4. Threatening g5. He's probably going to bring his rook over, and I'll bring my rook over. There you go. Again, threatening g5. I guess the knight can go there, but I think I will just pile on the pressure. Oh, or even just f4. Okay, he goes there. Threatening my bishop. Which bishop would I rather trade? Yeah, we'll go ahead and take, and then we'll push. Or do I want to defend this? No, let's push. Let's push. I'm seeing some ways that we can bust through here. I think we go G, G6, G7, H7, H8, G8, something like that should be fine. Go with the check. Don't really have time to calculate, so we just got to go with the instinct here. G7, yeah, this should bust through. Gonna have to avoid the check, and I want to run so that I don't have to worry about the back rank mate problems. I'm gonna probably run over here. Okay, H7 is the threat. Black really doesn't have a way to stop. They're gonna have to sack at least a rook. Maybe multiple pieces, depending on how this works out. Like, ideally, I want to go here and push, get a queen, and even if they take me, I get another queen. That's kind of the ideal situation. I don't know if they have a way to stop that. There you go. Get the queen, get another queen if they take me. And if not, we'll get two queens. I'm going to just save my queen there. Actually, I'll sack this one. I'm just clearing the way. I'm just clearing the way for the other queen. And I'm getting rid of a rook in the process. Let me just pre-move some things here. Probably, let's see. Probably just invade the rook. So that's going to force the king to come out, and then we can hopefully use the bishop and the rook to deliver the checkmate, or even maybe the queen can slide over as well. The other thing that I could do would be to like force a trade somehow, but I just don't see an easy way to do that. So instead, I'm just focusing on the king. I mean, I have a queen, I have a rook, I have a bunch of pieces, so that's probably the easiest thing to do anyway. So, I mean, again, I keep saying this, but it seems like this 1400 range, every person that we're playing against is just about moving pretty quickly. And that's a valid strategy. I mean, it is. It's a valid strategy. Like, you can win games playing that way. Let's bring the other rook in. But you're going to probably win more games if you slow down and just focus on playing the good moves. Sometimes, like when you're super low on time, just sack to get rid of the pieces. It just makes your life easier. Let me go check here. Let's see. How do we do this actually? Let me go here maybe. We can't defend that. Because like the bishop, leaving the bishop there, I have to worry about like, okay, what's on the diagonal? If I move my king on a dark square, I'm going to get checked. You know, it's stopping this rook anyway. So just sack it. You're way ahead. You can do that. Now, if you're only a little bit ahead, you can't do that. When you're way ahead, like just go ahead. Just do that. Check. Let's see. Where's the checkmate? Check. Yeah, so if you move your king, that's checkmate. If you go there, this is checkmate. Okay. So, good game, I guess. It was kind of a weird game, but... Oh, I did step away in the middle of the game. That's why I was low on time, too. I forgot about that. Okay. Oh, what was this moment? Whoa, what happened there? Okay, well, let's just take a quick look at that. So, Stockfish says that the best move was Queen E5. Okay, so Stockfish agrees with me that it was worth it to do that. F6, it wanted me to put the queen here or here for some reason. Fine. It wanted bishop C4 check, and what was the idea after, let's just say the king moves? Oh, now you go H4, and I don't let the bishop come in here. Interesting. So, yeah, Stockfish was valuing this diagonal more important than this one. Interesting. Whoa. Best move was bishop takes g5. So I was thinking that like bishop g6, and what do I do now? Ah, bishop c4 check is the move, forcing the rook, and then you just go here and you're just totally winning. Okay, so it was and the knight was not as good because... Oh, wow. Wait, this is not a good position for me? Wait a second. Bishop g6, bishop to... I'm sorry. Black has a move. Bishop f6 attacks my queen. Okay, fine. So I just move it back somewhere. And then you take my bishop. Because if I go here, you just go in the corner and you're happy. You're actually winning the game. Oh my goodness. What in the world? So... Wow. This move, bishop f6, and black is going to have an advantage. That's amazing. Totally didn't see that. So it was better to take here. Sorry, to take here. And then you don't even take with the queen. I mean, this is just wild. I don't even know what's going on. Okay. Good example of how chess is sometimes more complicated than you initially think it is. Like you think, oh, that's the only move, and then it's like, no, actually, there's like 15 things you didn't think about. Okay, wow. Let me play another game. All right, let's go. Can we get a Nachmann Gambit? We cannot. We cannot. Well, against d5. Oh, there's a there is a line. Okay, let me try this. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna try to play it. Nope, can't do it against this. Well, you know what, guys? Whenever I play this as black, I always get annoyed when people go like this. They go check. And then, after you put a piece here, they go back with their bishop and hold on to their pawn. And it's just an annoying move. So that's what I'm going to do to this person. I'm just going to be annoying. And this is a way to play chess. Like, if somebody does something annoying to you, you can play that again against someone else, right? So it's just kind of like, what do you do now if you're black, right? You just moved your bishop there, but now you're blocking your queen, so you can't take the pawn. I don't like this as black. I think I usually play c6 or something, but it's just annoying. So we'll see what they're going to do. See what they're going to do. Doesn't look like we're going to get a Nachmanson Gambit or a Rousseau Gambit today, though. Unfortunately. We do have Arthur thinking, though. Yeah, they play c6. Okay. So I'll go ahead and take it. And I think I'll just develop my knight. Obviously, I don't want to allow that and lose a rook. So we'll just develop, block off the bishop. And we are up a pawn. Of course, black gets some compensation for that. They have 2 files that they can use for their rooks. They have, you know, quick development and things like that. I think I'll go ahead and castle, get the king to safety. You can use the E file for a rook. And now I want to develop my pieces quickly. I think I'm going to go knight c3. Okay, let's keep an eye on this. I don't think there's anything to be concerned about. So knight c3 or d4, rook e1. Let's just get a knight out. Get the knight out. Okay, castles. Maybe we go d4 now or d3. d4 is more aggressive. Could be a target. Let's go d4. I think we need a little bit more space. So we'll do that. This guy's probably going to g5. Would also go to e3. Rook's probably going to e1. Queen might be going to e2. I'm not sure yet. Okay, he drops the bishop back. Now, why does he do that? He's attacking here. So, like, for example, takes. I lose a pawn. That could be one reason. The other reason could be he wants to go queen d6 and try to checkmate me, right? You take the knight, you checkmate me on h2. So the question is, do I care? Like, do I care at all about that? And let's see. I don't think so. I mean, maybe. Let's just say you go queen here. I could play knight b5 actually, forking these guys. If you take me, I take your queen, you take my queen. I'm down a piece. Actually, that's a bad line for me. I'm down a piece because I could get the piece back, but then I'm still going to lose a piece. Okay, so I don't want to do that. But I do need to pay attention to this queen d6. So what is the best way to deal with that? Rook e1. Queen. Oh, I can always play knight e5. Okay, on queen d6, I can play knight e5. Blocking the checkmate threat. That's what I can do. And if they take me first and then go there, I will just play g3. No big deal. All right, so we're good there. And I think I will now play either rook e1 or bishop g5 or bishop e3. I like bishop g5. I like bishop g5. Let's go pin that guy. Let's do it. Just scanning for tactics, making sure nothing jumps out at me. Because this is a little bit of a tricky position with the bishops lined up on my king. But I think we're okay here. So let's go ahead with bishop g5. Then I am going to be looking for opportunities to trade pieces because I'm up the pawn. So the more I trade, better things get for me. Does play queen d6, right? And so I think we go 95, like I said. I don't think there's a reason to do anything else. I already talked about this move. It doesn't seem to work. But yeah, let's just go 95. And the reason I didn't want to play g3, guys, is because this bishop is lined up on those squares. I don't really want to create those weaknesses unless I have to. That's like a last resort move. Like, okay, there's no other way to stop the checkmate. Have to do it. Fine, I'll play g3 and then I'll deal with the consequences. And maybe it wasn't the end of the world, because I could maybe trade for that bishop somehow. But if you don't have to make weaknesses, don't make weaknesses in front of your king. There's some interesting things that if I take this, yeah, we might actually see some of this. If I take check, king moves in the corner. I go here. I lose a knight. Then I could jump in with check. Or I could go bishop here. He's got e4 though. Or f5. Actually, I could go check first. Okay. So that's an interesting thing to think about. What else do we have? This is a very tricky position. He wants to just take my pawn, obviously. I guess I could take, and push. That might be nice. That might be nice. Takes, check, king goes there, knight comes there, takes. I lose a pawn. I don't love that. Yeah, so, okay. When you're in a position like this, you can find like a forcing line. The nice thing about that is you can calculate it very carefully. You make sure there's no mistakes, and then you can clearly, come to the conclusion that, like, okay, I go from this position to this position. And if you like that second position, it's like, great. You just force the game into a kind of going down a path where you're happy with, right? You can't always do that, because sometimes you're like, well, I'm going to play this, but I have no idea what they're going to play. But if it's a forcing line, then you're more likely to be able to get to those follow-up positions. So what I'm looking at is takes. Okay, there are a couple of options. Like, you could take with the pawn or the queen, but probably they're going to take with the knight, right? I'm going to take here. Okay, maybe there's some in-between move, but most likely you're going to take me. That's kind of forcing. D5 is a fork. And if you take me, I take you. And I've just traded off a bunch of pieces. And I think that's a pretty decent-looking position. I've also kind of exposed black's king. So, because of that, I think that's what I'm going to do. I don't want to do this. Well, I could also just do this first. That's the other thing, but I don't think it really matters. So, yeah, let's go ahead. I like the look of that. I don't want to use up all my time. So let me go ahead and take. I'm expecting the knight captures. Of course, queen takes would be interesting because you hit the bishop, but okay. And then we will take here. Just opening up the king. All right, and now d5. To get rid of my weakness, right? Because this is a weakness. There's like 3 pieces. I don't have a way to defend all of that. Actually, maybe I could. Knight b5 and c3. But if I have the opportunity to just trade it, why not just go ahead and do that? So I took that other position, forced it down a path where we trade some pieces off, get a little bit closer to the endgame, and expose my opponent's king. I'm happy with that, and here we go. Now we keep playing. And like, if this ever gets attacked, I'm not like super concerned because I do have a check and I could win it right back. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind if I need to. He goes there instead. Yeah, so I'm thinking we just take. We potentially trade queens, which is good for me. Also, if he takes back, you can't take back. Yeah, so you have to either move your queen or trade. If you move your queen, I'm going to take here. If you trade, you're losing a pawn. Actually, it looks like he's losing a pawn either way you look at it. I am happy with that. Let's go ahead. Of course, I will take back with this rook. And the reason I'm going to take with this one is because I want to leave this square for this guy to come into the game. If I take this way, he's not really able to come into the game, right? These squares aren't so valuable to me. This is where I want both of my rooks. So I'm planning ahead for that by taking here. Now, I could throw in this in-between move if I want my pawn to be there, because it's a check. Of course, if he takes me, I take him. That's a trade. This way I actually just win a pawn. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to throw in the check. If he takes, it's also going to be a check. And now I'll take the queen. And I've got this annoying pawn sitting on f7 that black has to worry about. So yeah, 3, 6, 7. We're up 3 pawns. We also have this guy. Really, really great position. And let's see, how do we proceed from here? He's going to jump in and attack my bishop. So maybe I just move proactively, get away from that. There it is. Okay. I'd like to get rid of this bishop. So maybe I go knight d5 and just trade that guy off. I like that. That's an annoying bishop. Brings my knight to the center. Let's go ahead. Threatening this. Of course, you can't take here because you just put yourself into a discovered attack. And then it's even more dangerous. Ah, he wants to take with the knight. I just realized that. That's what he's trying to do. Okay, okay. I guess you could take with the knight. You could do that. But still, I'm happy to get rid of this bishop. And even if I lose this pawn, I'm still up 2 pawns. It's not like I have to hold on to that pawn to have a good position. It's just an extra thing, right? Okay, so he does take it. Let's go ahead and get rid of the annoying bishop. By the way, when there's pawns on both sides of the board like this, the bishops usually are better than the knights because they can, you can put the bishop in the middle. They can kind of control both sides of the board if you needed to. So I'm very happy with my position. Now, how do I improve? There's a really, really good move here. What do you guys think it is? Hopefully you said rook d7, because whenever you can get your rook on the 7th rank, that's usually good. And the fact that I can do it now with a pin is even better. Also, attacking the weak pawns is even better. Also, clearing the way for this rook to come over behind is even better. It's just an amazing move. It's just an amazing move. All right, let's go ahead, double up the rooks on the file. And if black tries to do the same thing, I'm going to just play king f1 and chase him away, probably. Yeah, they go there. I think I will go ahead and play king f1. I don't want to take any chances that I get back rank checkmated. No chance whatsoever. I'm going to make sure I fix that problem right now. Okay, and now the knight finally moves. I think it's time to take the pawn. And you could have argued that maybe I should have taken that knight just to get the game closer to the endgame. Okay, that's interesting because he's trying to take here and force some tricky things. But I think h3 check. I just move. There is no checkmate or anything. Nothing to worry about. I'll play h3. Okay, the knight goes back. We could just grab a pawn. No, 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 no. The knight can't really invade. Yeah, why not? Pawns are good at the end of the game, so I'll go ahead and take another one. Okay, I could trade and give up the file, and at least we get closer to the endgame. But what I'm going to do instead is go here and fight for that file and not just give it up to black for no reason. Now, they could still trade if they want, but I'm happy with trades. And if not, I'm also happy because I have the file, and my rooks are very powerful. So I don't think there's anything wrong with this, but if you let the rook come down and he starts jumping around and taking all your pawns, like, you never know what might happen. So if you have the opportunity to just prevent that, like, just don't even let it happen. Okay, so they do take. I'll recapture. Okay, it doesn't really threaten anything. Let's see. I think we can chase the knight. So let's just play f4. The knight doesn't really have a lot of good squares. Actually, is the knight trapped? I guess it has to go to c6, only move. Ooh. Okay, I mean, it's not losing a piece, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to just get rid of that pesky knight. I don't want to get forked in time pressure. I'm up so many, pawns. Let's just keep it simple, keep it easy. I'll play c3. This is an easy way to defend a pawn. Just push it. And, of course, black can, keep attacking these pawns if they want. If they decide to go there, I'm going to put my rook. I'll just go here, I guess. Okay, do I let the rook invade? Absolutely not. Let's use the king to stop that. Look at that. We've got all these squares controlled so the rook can't invade. It's a super easy move. Remember, at the end of the game, you have to use your king. The active king in the endgame wins. That's what I'm doing. And you can see how powerful that is here to stop the rook from coming in. All right, I think it's time to start pushing some pawns over here, guys. Let's play a4. I'm going to try to play a4, b4. Just get these pawns rolling. And there's a little technique, actually. Let me play a5. We'll see if black tries to stop me. No, they're going to go for the check. So I'm going to just keep bringing my king up and towards the center. Could have also gone here. Okay, not a big deal. Let's just push the pawn. Okay, so what you can do in this situation is whenever you have 2 pawns and a rook, you push the other pawn. You only need 2, so I don't even care about the c3 pawn. I don't need it. I want to show you what to do here. You push this, get away from the checks, obviously, and notice how everything's defended. And I want to move it down the board, so I just slide my rook up. Look, everything's defended. I slide it up, I defend it, I go check, I slide it up. And you can just do that all the way up the board. And there's not really anything that black can do. If the king was closer sooner, maybe, but no, it's just too late. And I go up. I could also just go check and win the game immediately, but I'm just showing you the technique of how you can march these up the board, and eventually, you know, you are able to get a queen. All right. So if you ever have two pawns and a rook against a rook like this, just march it up the board. Eventually, you can get this and you get the queen. There you go. Okay. And now, what's the quickest and easiest way to win? Take the pawns, so I don't have to worry about them. Blocks out the king, like this. Okay. Get another heavy piece. And then just do like a ladder mate, staircase mate, whatever you want to call it, down the board. We'll go here and we'll go here. All right, super easy. No reason to take any chances with that. And there you go. All right, I think that puts us at 140 wins. Could be wrong. All right, so yeah, pretty nice game. I don't think, was there anything that we need to talk about on this one? I don't believe so. It was relatively straightforward. Yeah, nothing massive happened. Yeah, pretty straightforward. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget, Breaking 1500 is on sale. It ends today. $100 off. We're not going to be doing a sale like this for a little while, so make sure you take advantage of that if you're interested. And thank you, guys. I'll see you next time. Stay sharp. Play smart. Take care.